the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Greg Goff. Sound pretty good to you, Coach?
Man, I like that. That sounds good, Gary. Good morning.
Well, good morning. Great to have you with us. I appreciate it. I missed your press conference, your introductory press conference, because I'm on vacation. I love the little message that you sent me through Mary McCall. We've had a lot of fun and got a good giggle at that at the TV station. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I thought you might like that. You know, she was all behind that, so she wouldn't give me my account number until I did that. So don't think I just come out and did that on my own.
Well, we've had a lot of fun. You know, before we kind of get into your coaching history and this job at Alabama, you know, we got a strong connection. In fact, I put a call in this morning to Mark Hogan and could not get him. I wanted to have him surprise you. Mark Hogan's a good friend of mine. When I worked over in Meridian, Mississippi at WTOK TV in the early 90s. He was the head coach at West Alabama, took them to the Division II World Series in 1994, and I know, of course, went on to his alma mater, Southeast Missouri, there in Cape Girardeau, and you coached for him a couple years. What a great guy. I so wanted him to call in and surprise you today, but I couldn't get him. But talk about his influence on you, because I know you, like me, think the world of Mark Hogan.
I do, man. I tell you, Gary, I was one of my biggest surprises was when we went to the Starkville Regional over a few weeks ago. And I hear somebody yell, "Coach Goff!" I'm like, "Who is that?" I look up, it's Mark Hogan. He was down, because Stemo was at the regional with us, and I didn't even know he was coming. And had a chance to see him and Becky, and Betsy is one of his daughters, and just an unbelievable guy that has had a positive influence on me. Gave me my first chance to be at the Division I level, and just, you know, what a great opportunity I had to learn from him and to see how he does things, and what a character. He's been good for me.
Yeah, he's a mess. I tell you, he is something else, and I'm looking forward to catching up with him myself. I got a message into him, so hopefully I'll get to talk with him later on today. Of course, another connection is with the University of West Alabama. Stan Williamson, the director of athletics there, hired you at Campbell University, and you know, you'd had a great run at Montevallo, so you got some ties here to West Alabama.
I do. I didn't know that, Gary. I tell you what, man. You need to come up press conference. Come on now. We got all these connections. I need some friends. So, no, but Stan was again, very instrumental on me being here and helping me, you know, as a Division II guy making that jump to the Division I level, and gave me the confidence to go up there and run that program at Campbell. And again, very thankful that those guys, you know, when you get to positions like this, Gary, as you know, you have to have people in your life to, you know, help you grow and all those things. And I've been very blessed with Mark Hogan and Stan Williamson and Keith Mass and all those kind of guys that have gotten me where I am today.
Yeah, let's kind of run down your resume, because it's been a real good synergy here as far as getting to this point. Coming out of the Memphis area, you played at Jackson State Community College, then at Delta State, and I'd worked in the Jackson market too in Mississippi, so I'm very familiar with those teams over there in the Gulf South Conference, and a great baseball program at Delta State as a pitcher. And then you start your career there. We mentioned the stint at Southeast Missouri, and then in the SEC at Kentucky. Then your first head job at Montevallo, and the steps you took there, taking over a program that was struggling, and in your third season, going 43-18, getting them to the NCAA Division II College World Series. I know you had some experience by that time, but what was that 2006 season like, your first really championship season as a head coach?
Sure, that was amazing. That really showed me what a great group of guys that would buy into something special. That was really that first team that really allowed me to grow as a coach and really showed me, you know, what a group of guys can do when they really buy in and love one another and respect one another there at Montevallo. You know, we took over for Coach Reasoner and had an awesome career. I was so nervous going in behind him. You know, he had won so many games, one of the most winningest coaches in Division II. And, you know, so we went there and got a chance to start that program up again and got that third year was huge for us. And, you know, from that point on, we went on and had another year, and then we had a chance to go on to Campbell. But that year was so special because that group of guys really showed me a lot and helped me grow as a coach. And it was fun going to Montgomery playing that World Series, only been a few hours away.
Yeah, I want to ask you what that's like as a coach, because, again, you're coming up through the ranks as a player, then as an assistant, you become a head coach. As you said, you're following a legend there at Montevallo. First year, you had a losing record, 26-27. Then your second year, you're 14 games over 500. But that third year, when you win a Gulf South Conference Division championship, you advance to the College World Series. How does that, as a coach, resonate with you? Do you say, obviously I know what I'm doing works? Is that the first time that you have that feeling of validation as a coach when you lead a team to a championship like that, or did you already have it?
No, that's no doubt. As a young coach, coming from the SEC and beginning as a head coach, you always wonder if what you're doing is right and all that type of stuff, Gary. And I think that year really kind of validated what we were doing and helping us grow as a coach. And I just think that year was really special. And it was crazy how we even got in that year. We got a beat in the conference tournament,
right?
And we were told that we wasn't going to get into a regional. I let every one of those kids go home.
Oh, wow.
I had end of the year meetings. Oh yeah, I had end of the year meetings with them. I told them, guys, I can't understand this, but I'm being told, in Division II it's you don't go other places. It's just that regional team, and so I let them go. I said, I'm sorry. We cried, and because we thought we should be in, so they go, I'll go home, and then. At that time, Dennis Toney was our AD, and about 2 or 3 days, we just kept coming up with the numbers, like we should be in. And so we kept sending things to the selection committee and all the guys that were making those decisions. And 9 o'clock came on that Sunday, nothing. 10 o'clock, nothing. So I just finally was like, it's over. We're not going to get in. And I went to bed. And about 1:30 that morning, my AD, Dennis Toney, called me and said, Greg, you're not going to believe this, but they got us in.
Wow.
So, hey, we had to get guys to fly into Abilene, Texas to meet us. We had one practice, and we went out there and won that thing. Unbelievable. That's
a crazy story. That's a great story. I don't know that, that's one of those that probably, everybody that's listening doesn't know about. So I'm glad you shared that with us.
No, I mean, it was just an amazing ride and just a great group of guys that just, again, God blessed us so much and had such a big part in that in my career. And we've just been so blessed.
All right, you leave Montevallo after the 2007 season to go to Campbell in the Big South, or Atlantic Sun, and later the Big South. We're going to get more on the Big South here in just a moment. And that's a total rebuilding job there at Campbell. You get it done. Your last 3 seasons, you win 41, 49, and 41 games. You go to an NCAA Division I regional in 2014. Phenomenal success there. And that leads to the call from Ruston and Louisiana Tech. And that's where I want to pick back up because at Louisiana Tech, they had not had success. And in your second year this season, you go 42-20. You go to the regional there in Starkville, and that's what's interesting to me about coaches is here you are, you're 100% into your job. You're not looking to leave. You're preparing, getting ready for taking this program to the next step, maybe next year to try to build past the regional to super regional, and all of a sudden Alabama calls and show some interest. I guess it's the nature of being a coach, but what was that like? Because I know you were talking to some people there in Ruston, and they said, man, this guy was taking us to the next level, totally committed to what he was doing. Then all of a sudden, Alabama calls. What was that like, Coach?
It was crazy. It was just, we get into a regional first time in 29 years, and, I really thought year 3 would be the year for us at Tech because we brought so many guys in. I thought it'd be a year of experience, and I thought really year 3 would be the year. But our guys just really, about the last 5 weeks, just figured some things out and started playing so well, and got on the road, started believing, and so we go through that, and I never dreamed that this would happen. We go to the regional, we get in, and my goodness, we get beat the first night, and then we come back through and beat Southeast Missouri, and then we beat Cal State Fullerton. To send them home, and so now we're playing for the championship against Mississippi State. We get beat. I'm on the way home, and I get a text or a phone call from Kentucky, and then I get a phone call from Alabama because both those jobs at the time was open, and I'm like, God, you are awesome. This is unbelievable. But I really, even as I went through the process, I didn't think it was the timing of it. We'd only been at Ruston for 2 years,
right?
And so I really thought, it was very, it was very intriguing and all those types of things. But I just didn't think our time was up at Ruston. And then when I came over here and interviewed and saw the commitment level that our administration has made and all that, I was like, oh my goodness, if this job's given to or offered to me, this would be my dream job. And Coach Battle and I had a great interview, and I was waiting anxiously for 3 or 4 days to hear. And when he called me, my wife saw me jump up and down and went crazy. So she didn't know what. She thought I won the lottery or something. So it was just an amazing ride, and so thankful for our time at Ruston and what they did there. And tough leaving a place that you invested so much. That, as you know, when you take over a program like that's been struggling, and you get it to the top, it's just so much emotion into it. But we knew this is what God had planned for us and opened this door, and just very grateful to be here.
New Alabama baseball coach Greg Goff, our guest here on the Gary Harris Show on Tide 102.9. Going to talk about the staff in just a moment, but you mentioned coming to Tuscaloosa, and I know you were aware that they'd redone the facility here at Sewell Thomas, and it was a brand new facility. But what did you think when you got here and you saw it with your own eyes?
Wow, I mean, just amazing, Gary. I just, I'd been here, 4 or 5 years ago maybe, and I tell you, it's just amazing. You can tell that they put a lot of time, they put a lot of effort in going to different stadiums and looking at different ways that people have done things, and then come in here and put their own Alabama touch to it. So it's just overwhelming. We've had guys that's come in here the last couple of days that's been recruited by different places, and I just want to know, hey, how does this compare? This is the best. This is the best. So we're very fortunate to be here and to be a part of it now as the facility has really take it to a different level.
All right, I got to bring up the elephant in the room because you're a baseball coach and you're well aware of it. And I always like to tell people, and Ron Polk and I have had this discussion many times, if it were football in the SEC and one team was allowed to have 125 scholarships and some other teams were allowed to have 85 or 95, it would be unthought of. But in baseball, sure, you're dealing with 11.7. This isn't a lottery state. Clearly, Alabama is at a disadvantage there along with Auburn, even in terms of out-of-state tuition and all those things. What is your plan for working with the 11.7, knowing that schools like LSU and Florida and Georgia are going to have advantages in the scholarship game? How do you counter that, Coach?
Well, I think it starts with the mindset, to be honest with you, Gary. I think if I'm sitting here thinking that I've got a disadvantage, then I'm going to get beat. I'm always a guy that every place I've been, we've made more with less. And, we may have a little bit of a difference in scholarships, as far as that's concerned, but that's no reason why we can't go out here and compete and do the things we're going to do. We're not going to let that hinder us at all. We do a great job, with 11-7. That's why you see a Coastal Carolina winning, because there's so much parity in Division I baseball. So I don't think that's a disadvantage at all for us. I think we have to just, with what we have, you can't miss. You can't make a lot of mistakes. You got to be right on with guys, and I think if you do that, the 11-7 is no problem, and we should have a chance to win a championship soon.
Staff-wise, you're bringing Jake Wells with you from Louisiana Tech. I know it's not been released by the university yet, but reportedly Sean Allen is coming in from Tulane. What a great pedigree he has. I guess you're going to handle the pitchers yourself. Talk about the coaching staff and how that's come together.
Well, we got Jake on board right now, and we're kind of in the process of trying to figure out, with the other spots and things like that. And I've got some guys in mind, like you said, and I'm still working my way through that right now. And hopefully, we'll get. My goal, Gary, is to hopefully have everything done and established and everybody on board by next week.
Are you going to handle the pitchers? You think you'll coach the pitchers yourself?
I will be a part of it. I've done that. For a long time. But my plan right now is to keep my hands in it, but be able to turn it over to somebody and let them kind of run on a daily basis. But yet I'm going to have my hands in it for sure. Right.
Of course, I know getting a staff hired, recruiting's the priority right now, getting familiar with your environment. Personnel-wise, have you had a chance to look over the roster that you're going to be inheriting? If so, what do you think? If not, when do you plan to get an opportunity to do that? And have you met with the current guys yet? I know there's probably a lot of them home for summer. Where does that stand?
They are, but there are quite a few that's been here. After my press conference, there were 10 or 12 that I met with in the locker room. So great group of guys. Coach Gaspard and the staff have, did a great job. It's not like we're coming into a situation that hadn't been taken care of. They've been very diligent in what they've done, and I had so much respect for Coach Gaspard and Dax and Andy and what they've done here. So this is a great situation that we're coming into, and I think our team is really athletic. I think they've been young and they've been growing and having some great experience in the SEC. So, I think on paper we look really good. On the draft side, our pitching staff took a little bit of a hit. So we, may have to, try to do something there. But position player-wise and things like that, I think we're in really good shape. And hopefully we'll have some guys step up on the pitching staff end of it to carry some of the, some of the weight that some of those guys that got drafted that left.
If you want to follow Coach Goff on Twitter, he has a Twitter account. It's at Coach Goff 39, and I'd encourage you to go there and give him a follow and keep up with what's going on with Alabama baseball. Okay, you got a track record of coming in and taking programs to the next level. World Series at Montevallo, getting Campbell into a regional and really bringing them up from the depths of mediocrity, getting Louisiana Tech to regional for the first time in 29 years. Now the challenge here at Alabama, where there's great history and tradition, as you know, 2 runner-up finishes nationally at the College World Series in 83 and 97, but Alabama hasn't been to Omaha since 1999. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask you, what's the plan to get Alabama back to the College World Series?
Well, we've got to be, we got to be really good in our recruiting, Gary. When I worked for Coach Madison at Kentucky, he said you can't win a Kentucky Derby with some mules. So I'm a great coach when I have great players. When I went over and talked with Coach Saban before my press conference, the first thing he told me, Coach, get some recruiters and find the best players. So I think that's the biggest thing. We're trying to hit the ground right now. We're trying to evaluate the commitments and where they are and kind of our team. And that's number one, recruiting and doing a great job in the state. And so forth. So that's number one. And then second, just put in our system, implement our system. I feel like with how we're aggressive and how we attack and all those types of things, it's going to be a little different in this league. And I'm looking forward to having a chance to compete in it and get us back to Omaha. That's the goal. I was here. I was at Kentucky some of those years that they had those great teams, so I played those when Coach Wells was here. And, I saw what it took, and hopefully we can get back to that mentality and help us, get to where we want to go.
You mentioned finding ways to win big with less, and now we're going to get back to what happened yesterday in Omaha. A guy well, Gary Gilmore,
Yep.
You competed against him in the Big South. Coastal wins it all. I mean, I've been saying, Cinderella and the glass slipper and it fit, but I think it's good for college baseball, but I think it's an example of what can be done. And it's got to be special to you, having been in that conference, having competed against Coastal, to see that coach and that program win a national championship.
It was, Gary and I have had a good relationship, and when I got into the league, he had won it so many years, and he really helped me understand the league, and really took me under his wing and really gave me some experience and advice, as we would talk before games or after games, so I really have a lot of respect for Coach Gilmore and what they're doing. So it doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't. As you know, you put a couple of guys on the mound that can really, really pitch. You play great defense, especially in that ballpark out there. You throw strikes, you play defense, and have some timely hitting. It's anybody's game, and I think that's what Coach was, really played well and had some guys that could hit, especially from the left side. And when I left the Big South, all those guys they had were all freshmen and sophomores, and so they've been building up for this, and the experience was all there. And what a great, great story for college baseball.
We're wrapping up with Alabama baseball coach Greg Goff, gracious enough to give us some time here this morning. Before we close, you at your press conference, and even though I wasn't there, I watched it, and you made a point to acknowledge your wife and your 4 daughters, and we're talking about the life of a coach, and here they are having to uproot again and move. I know it's part of being a coach's family, but talk about their support. I can tell that you're a family man all the way, and what that means to you, and as you make this transition from Ruston to Tuscaloosa.
Well, I just sitting there thinking about it as you said that, Gary. It gets emotional because, as you know, for a successful coach, you better have a great support staff. And Tina, my wife, has been so supportive, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for her. As you know, she's the rock when I'm gone all the time. As you know, that's the bad thing about us and what we do is that we're gone all the time. And so you better have some support staff, and she's been absolutely wonderful. She's never once blinked an eye. We lived in 7 different states.
Wow.
Our 4 girls are all born in 4 different states. So I thought each state maybe I'd have a boy, but it never worked out.
You kept trying.
I kept trying, man. I kept trying. So I went 0 for 4, so she told me I was on the bench. But, it's just, and I love my girls. They're just so awesome. And I have my oldest is going to be a senior in high school, her senior year. She never once batted an eye. Dad, this is what you want to do. Let's go. And so I'm so thankful for all their support and the encouragement that I get from them, because I wouldn't be here, as you know, ups and downs, highs and lows with coaching. You better have a rock behind you. And my wife and my girls have been that rock and have gotten me here today.
I know that's the truth. And speaking of common connections that we have, Lane Burrows, who's taking over for you there at Tech, is another good friend of mine. I've known him since he played baseball at Meridian Community College, and so he'll do a good job there keeping it going there at Lock.
He will. He really will, Gal. I'm so glad that it's really worked out there, especially with all that team coming back. Lane is going to fit right in, and Coach Ostrander, stayed there and made that transition. So I'm excited about what they're doing, and I know Lane will do an outstanding job there.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. Just talking to you in this conversation, I mean, even though we're on the radio and on the phone, I think people that are listening can just feel the enthusiasm that you have for this job and this opportunity. It's going to be a tough task to get this program to where you want it to go, but I'm confident after talking to you that you can get it done. We appreciate the time so much, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I am so excited. I really appreciate you and what you're doing and allowing us to get out here on the air today. And you know what? Every place I've been, there's been some obstacles, but we always overcome. And I think, good Lord willing, we do things right. We expect to get to Omaha here real soon.
Going to be fun. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Have a great day, Gary. Thank you.